Right, as part of the Community Voices Connected series that we're doing here on Harbour Radio, as part of Let's Talk About with yours truly, Peter Kirkpatrick, I have Chantal, who is going to talk to us about Please Give Me Space campaign, which is a very relevant campaign at this particular moment in time. Hello, Chantal. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Peter. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a chat with you.
I was trying to think actually how I become aware of this, and I think you probably popped up somewhere on social media. Now, we're all aware of social distancing and whatever, and I think your campaign, well, perhaps you'd just like to introduce yourself and your campaign to us for us, please.
Yeah, thank you. So, as you've already mentioned, my name's Chantal, and I work for Hidden Disability Sunflower. And last year, due to the pandemic, our company joined up with a well-known charity called RNIB to shine a light or to focus on the difficulties that many people with disabilities were incurring through the social distancing, the 2 metres. So in respect of the RNIB, because that's around visual impairment, if you have a visual impairment, it's practically impossible to judge a safe judge a safe distance. So that's how this project came to fruition, and we worked with the RNIB, with the Hidden Disability Sunflower. So it was a nice marriage of our sort of expertise, and the RNIB, then they have a gateway into many different charities, so they were able to speak with other charities who support different types of disabilities or health conditions. And through the research and conversation, it became clear that a visual indicator would be of massive benefit to so many people. So Please Give Me Space is how that was the genesis of it, and that's how it was came into creation.
And this is backed by the government as well. It's by the Cabinet Office, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got endorsement by the UK Government Cabinet Office, which is fantastic. They wanting to do everything they can to keep everybody safe. And, there's a real need for this, because there are so many different reasons why either somebody can't judge a safe space or, it's really important that we keep a safe space from them. So, if you're undergoing treatment for some different types of healthcare, for example, cancer treatment is the obvious one, it's so important. The immune system has been, decimated by treatment. So it's really important that other people, are mindful and think, okay, just because I might not mind getting close, that person there, they have a health condition. So it's really important, but how do we identify those people? And Please Give Me Space, which is it's a campaign, but it's a wearable product, and that is the indicator.
So just describe the actual logo, because you've got a very distinctive logo which people can use as a lanyard to sort of identify to other people their needs. So just sort of describe that, because obviously on radio I can't show a picture, so much as I'd like to, but
yeah, so we've made it really, really clear, really visual and impactful. It's a yellow circle with a black figure indicating a person, and in between 2 arrows pointing out to either side, and it means Please Give Me Space. And the product that we've produced has been through customer research as well with the RNIB. There's canvas to see what kind of products people would feel comfortable to wear. So we've got a range of the lanyard and an ID card, and on the ID card it also says Please Give Me Space. We've got a really cute pin badge, which is the same emblem, yellow circle with a person on it in between 2 arrows. And then we have a snood, we have a tabard, and we also have a face mask. So there's a variety of different things for people to choose to wear. And because we have worked with the Cabinet Office on this, you can also download the card, like a badge, if you like, a display paper, basically, with the image on. So you can actually download that for free. So we have that available on our website. So we don't want cost to be a barrier to somebody being able to keep themselves safe. If you want to buy the products, which are at affordable cost, you can, but also they are free to download products as well. So we really want to make it accessible for everybody.
I think just in case people can't visualize this, and it is a very distinctive symbol. Whoever come up with that did a really good job, I think. But if you first glance at it, just glance at it, it looks a bit like the nuclear sign, the one, the hazardous waste type thing. It's a bit sort of
Yeah,
reminiscent of that, and it is very distinctive. But I mean, apart from the guidelines that we all have to adhere to in order to sort of try and kill this thing off or help to keep it under control. A lot of people simply don't like people standing too close, do they? I mean, I'm a bit like that. I have this natural sort of area around me, I guess, that very few people I'm allowed in that. And I think with a lot of people have issues with that for other reasons, don't they?
yeah, that's right. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons why people need space to be given. You've got lots of people experience anxiety, dyspraxia, mental health might be poor. And you've got Alzheimer's, dementia. There's so many reasons why getting up close to somebody can cause extreme anxiety. So this really is very clear messaging. Please give me space. Please give me space. It couldn't be any clearer than that. And we try to keep it very clear, very direct, but without being aggressive. Please, could you please give me space?
I used to have a chap that I worked with in a voluntary basis. We'd go to meetings and we'd argue like mad, but he was a real gent. And at the end of it, he would come up and we'd just carry on as though we'd never had these blazing rows in public. And I always admired him for that. But he had this habit of standing really close. And you'd start to sort of take half a step backwards to keep that gap. And he didn't have that. And I can understand why people don't like it. But of course, we have to keep our distance, don't we? What sort of reaction are you getting to this campaign?
So the campaign it's targeted at the individual, you in your home, and we have another strand which is towards businesses. So what we try to do is we've spoken to charities, we've spoken to businesses, and we've spoken to people, which is really, really important. And we've spoken to people with different needs, different health conditions to find out what their experiences are like, which is really important. And we want to share. So I'm running a social media campaign, and if any of your listeners have got any access to, local community newsletters or anything like that, I'm really happy to provide articles to go in that to kind of just raise awareness. Because the more people that understand what it means, the more that people will then be given space, and hopefully we will be able to reduce transmission rates. The feedback's been really, really positive. The products are light to wear, they're comfortable, because we go from a tiny pin badge up to a massive tabard, which the emblem is emblazoned on the front and on the back. It means it's up to the wearer to, they can choose what they feel most comfortable with, which is really important. Businesses, we're talking to businesses because they need to find a way to make their staff feel comfortable when they're at work. Lots of people working in frontline jobs, supermarkets, for example, they're around customers all the time. As a customer, I need to keep my distance from somebody who's working in a shop just as well as I need to keep it from another customer. So we've teamed up with, it's called USDOR, which is a union, it's quite a long acronym, so let me try and get this correct. Union for shop workers and distributed allied workers. I think that's correct.
It's I used to be in it, I think. So.
Oh right, have I got it right?
It's close enough, yeah.
So the likes of them, big retail consortiums, they are advertising it to their members, the members of retail, so that they can keep their staff safe as well as their customers. The customers feel reassured when they're coming in. Shopping centres have got on board, airports, Heathrow and Gatwick are supporting it. And then, with regards to charities, we've had really good feedback from a lot of charities which are supporting people with visual impairment, and ITV News have picked it up on the Channel Islands and in Wales. So, we just keep on pushing on, raising awareness. When we've spoken to members of the community, we've put this really nice interview together called Please Give Me Space Stories. So in that, we just have a chat, like just like how we are now. We have a chat through Zoom, and they share with us what life is like for them. So one person, she has sickle cell and asthma, and, she's been having to stay in, and it's been really, really tough. And when she goes to the supermarket, it's really important because her health is very, very susceptible. If she were to get COVID, it could be fatal. So it's good to talk to real people about their real life experiences. So once again, if any of your listeners would like to chat to me about what their experience has been like through the pandemic and with social distancing, I'd be delighted to have a conversation with them.
Well, it's a good opportunity then to put on some, or just to announce some contact details for yourself. We'll do it again at the end of the interview. So how could they get in touch with you?
So there's an email address, which is join@pleasegivemespace.uk, and then we have a website which I can give you. It's www.pleasegivemespace.uk, and we're across all social media platforms. So Instagram, LinkedIn, what else we've got? Twitter, Facebook. So search Please Give Me Space in any of those, and you should find our little person in a yellow circle, and that will come directly through to us. So,
of course, as part of our Community Voices Connected series that we're doing through March on Harbour Radio, where interviews like this form not only part of my normal show, Let's Talk About, but will also be available as separate podcasts on Harbour Radio at different times, really to try and talk to anybody in the community who's vulnerable, who has a story to tell. Maybe it's a good story, even a bad story, whichever. But people who are clinically vulnerable, we're talking about debts, bereavement, all those kind of things. And they all sort of fall into that same pot, don't they? And, there's a lot of people out there. You talked about the lady with sickle cell. For myself, my immune system is artificially suppressed. And so, if COVID comes my way, thankfully now I've had an armful of Oxford. That may not be quite so bad, but even with the best will in the world, I'm only going to get 60% coverage. So I'm just staying at home. But there's a lot of people out there who don't have a medical need in terms of something like that, but they have an emotional need or an emotional issue where somebody just standing too close to them, not obeying the rules, getting into their personal boundaries is going to cause a real problem, isn't it?
It really is. And I think that this loss of connection that we have felt as a country, or the world really, who have had really high rates such as we have done, that loss of connection and being fearful to go out because of worrying about catching COVID. If you could know that people actually were just going to keep their distance from you, that would mean such a lot. I think going down to the local shop to pick up a pint of milk, that might be the only time somebody sees another person, that week, that day. So being able to leave your house with confidence that people are not going to be up in your space, I think it's really important. It's a connection, whether it's with a friend, a family member, a stranger in the street, even smiling when you've got face masks on, it's like everything's been tipped upside down for us all. So if we can just make one thing a bit easier, I think that would be great. And what we're also doing, I didn't mention with businesses, we have, in regard to making it accessible for everybody, we have developed a range of campaign products, merchandise if you like, for free. So businesses can join for free. So if you've got any little businesses in your local area that would like to join, we've got training for staff. and we've done the training in the form of an animation, so it's clear, it's fun. What is it? Why do we need it? Who is it for? What do I do if I see somebody wearing it? We've created customer service top tips, so you could put it behind the checkout. So, if somebody's like, I see somebody wearing that sign, what do I do? It is very clear what you need to do. But we've done lots of things to try and reinforce the message and make it really easy for businesses to implement this. So we've got posters. They can download the posters for free. And we've got stuff that they can put on their social media channels, or if they have digital screens within their premises, they can put them on there. And we've got lots of fun and engaging, very clear to the point messaging. And as I said, it's free. So the products that we sell, the lanyard stuff, there's a cost to those. They're not expensive though. But we are trying to make this so accessible so that we can really try and help and reassure people such as yourself with health conditions, or people who have feelings of anxiety, loneliness. I think this would be a fantastic option for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think people's mindsets have changed dramatically over the last, nearly a year now, isn't it? When we were in the early stages of lockdown 1, I experimented. I'm lucky. I'm very, very lucky. So I live near the beach and the harbour's mouth here in Galston. And so I can literally leave my house, and within 2 or 3 minutes I'm sort of on the beach. And we were timing it. We found the times when the early morning dog walkers had stopped, and before the general walkers came out, there was that gap at around sort of 10 o'clock we were finding, and people were getting out of your way. So if you're walking along, you step in the road, they step in the road, and that was fine. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that hasn't carried on, that has. And there was a lovely example, a young lad, as we went out for a walk this morning, and a young lad, we started to step out into the road. He did the same. He smiled at us. We smiled at him. We all said thank you. And we kept our distance. And that was lovely. That was really nice. But there are so many people, and down on the prom, as many people who were keeping their distance, there was a lot of people who weren't. And I don't think we're going to be rid of this anytime soon. And I think when we go out, say, for example, it was suddenly allowed we could go out tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of people who are very anxious not to do that, aren't they? And they're going to carry this on and want to carry this on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, there's a fear now of kind of going out, isn't there, for many people? And I completely get what you're saying. I think when you have those nice interactions where people are really polite and they smile at you and they step out of it your way and vice versa, that's a nice engagement. And also you feel a slight connection, like, that was a very respectful person. But then we encounter other people, such as you just mentioned, that are kind of oblivious or in their own headspace for whatever reason, and they're not stepping out of the way or making space. And there's another cause for anxiety and concern. I mean, there's been in the news just recently, they're highlighting the number of people with learning difficulties who haven't been put on the vulnerable list, the extremely vulnerable list to get their vaccine, yet they are the people who are contracting it, dying at a higher rate. So there's so much concern and worry within our local communities. I think we all could probably do a bit more,
I mean, if one thing I've found from this, where a lot of people do have problems with being isolated, I found that I must be a miserable so-and-so because I quite enjoy staying at home. So for me personally, it's not been a problem. And I say that lightheartedly because, that's my own particular makeup. But I was talking to a chappie this morning on the phone, and we were sort of saying, well, whilst we live in nice places and we have the beach or the countryside, there are people who are in the 37th story of a block of council flats in London, for example, who don't have that luxury, and they must be really, really feeling the effects. And so when they go out, they're stressed before they even set outside the door, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Are you going to be in the lift with somebody who's going to be standing close to you to get down from the 37th floor, for example? Yeah. It's, even my own personal situation is that I was working in an office in a, really busy area, lots of, colleagues sat on a bank of tables, sat next to one another. I love that. I love the camaraderie. I hate being on my own. I don't enjoy it. But then sometimes the more you stay in, it's like, I don't know if I can be bothered to go out. So it has such an effect on your whole psyche that kind of like your whole working pattern has changed, how you interact with people has changed, and how you get exercise. For me, my exercise was walking back and forth to the station. It didn't feel like exercise because it was part of my commute. But actually now I realise I've got aches and pains. That was part of my exercise as well. So yeah, it's had a massive impact in so many ways, 360 degrees really.
So you've got a lot of resources that are available to either businesses or community groups or individuals. So let's have those contact details again, and anybody that wishes to get in touch can either contact you directly or they can also come through me and I can always forward things on. So let's have those contacts again, Chantal.
Okay, so the email address is join@pleasegivemespace.uk and our website is www.pleasegivemespace.uk, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn. And I will be delighted to talk to any one of your listeners and we can get through this together.
Absolutely, and I think it's good to be positive. I know it's difficult sometimes and harder for some than others, but I think there is hope, and hopefully we will get out and about and start meeting. Summer's hopefully not too far away. That always makes things slightly better. He says that with fingers crossed, but that's the way I look at it anyway. I'd love to know how things develop over the next sort of few months, and I mean hopefully we won't have this conversation next year, but just in case we do, it would be lovely to know where it goes and any developments that you have. So please do keep in contact, and as I say, if anybody's got any stories or anything, then just get in touch with Chantal through the numbers given, or myself at Harbour Radio. And actually, if you simply Google please give me space, there's loads and loads of information comes up.
That's brilliant. I can't thank you enough for your time today, Peter. It's been a really lovely chat.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and you take care of yourself and keep on doing the good work that you're doing.
Thank you. And you.
You take care for now. Bye for now.
Okay, bye.